Hi guys, welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Emily and you're very welcome here. I am here for my weekly, it is Thursday the 2nd of March. I'm here for my weekly video, which this is month 3 of me actually making a video every week, which I think is pretty good going for me. Yeah, a bit later in the day, but such is life. And I'm here to show you what I've done in the week, what I've done this week, my plans for March, my March plans. I've pulled new pieces, I've got them with me to show you, and my dodgy Chinese haul that came, which actually is okay. I'm pleasantly surprised by it, but I'll do that last. Right, so this week has been a good week for stitching. I got 10,504 stitches this week, not counting the Buffy Threads kit, because I count that when I'm just going to count that into my annual total, because yeah. So I'll show you that first. The other night I had an early nap and then woke in the middle of the night. Essentially, I had a lovely long nap, woke in the middle of the night and was awake for 3 hours. So I pulled out my Buffy Kits kit. And put some stitches into the February piece, which is number 2. I am going to have to pull my finger out and do more stitches on this. I think I didn't this month because I kind of set myself the rather unrealistic goal of finishing an Ink Circles and a Carolyn Manning's that was at like 26% and 53% respectively. What was Shooting Star was at 52.5% and Castle Walls was at 26.25%. So to say, right, I'm going to finish those 2 pieces was a bit of a big ask actually for the month. So I've really spent a lot of time stitching on them. So, you know, yeah. So anyway, my Buffy Threads number 2, I'm going to try and get number 2 and number 3 and hopefully number 4 started in March, to sort of catch myself up, because I want to be ahead. I don't want to be starting 12 in December. I want to be nearly finished by December. So I'm doing the 12 days for Christmas. I'm trying to try and do one a month. And last week my number 2 was here. Well, you can see number 1 is finished and number 2, bolt back stitch, and number 2 is here. And after stitching on it for a couple of hours in the middle of the night, it now looks like this. So here's 2 turtle doves. And the background's kind of done to there. You can see the 2 is going to sit across there. This is all gold. This twiddly bit here is all going to be gold that fills in. I have done quite a bit of the gold. I'm doing it as I go now instead of all at the end. But my little turtle doves are looking very nice. And as you can see, Eric came in from the garden in the pouring rain, walked all over it and sat down. So now it is very muddy, but this is gridded Ada anyway. It will be washed just as well really, because it is really dirty now. That was Eric, little monkey. So number 2 I'll have probably 3 and 4, and then I've got room for 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'll find another piece of 18 count Ada and I'll stitch the last 3 of the last 4 on them. So there we go. So there's my number 2 where I'm at the moment. Hopefully by the end of next week I'll nearly have this one finished. I'm hoping. And then there's Treasure Hunt Bookshelf, which I am doing 1% a month, or every month but May. In May I'm just going to do as much as I can. Absolutely as much as I can in May. May is going to be Monogamous Bookshelf Day, and then the only other piece I'll have going will be this, I think. I'm going to try, but you know, I might pick something else and stitch on in the month as well, but this is going to be the month for the bookshelf. So last week I hadn't quite, I think I was like 9 and a, where was I last week? Oh, last week, let's find a page in my book and then I'll know. Last week I was at a 9.88, so I only needed 0.12%, which was still 800 stitches. So I finished that. I finished that a couple of days ago. Finished that on Monday when I was off on Monday. So last week it looked like this, and this week it looks like this. So there. I put stitches in here until I'd finished, and then there was a little bit went this way. I have finally picked myself up another skein of Blunk, so I can now fill in, because you can probably see, yeah, you can see there's bitty gaps right back to about here. These are mostly white stitches in here, so I need to catch myself up and do some filling in, and I need to come back and fill in all these little bitty spotty bits. But I will do that. This is water cascading off from where the bow of the ship's knocking the water off the shelf. I do think it's wonderful. So 1% going into this month. It's currently sitting at 10%. It is 10% completed, which is scary really. That's 10 months I've been working on it. So I've got March and April, so it'll be 12%. I'll have been working on it for a year, and then in May I'm going to see what I can get done. I'm going to aim for 4%, which 714 is 28,000 stitches. I'm going to aim for 4%. I'd love to get 5%, but I think 4% is more realistic. And yeah, I'm going to do big guns on this in May. So that's my treasure hunt bookshelf, which is upside down, which is my ongoing massive project. Then we've got Shooting Star and Castle Walls, neither of which I have finished in February. I am close, but I am not finished on either of them. Now, I am switching my projects out. I've already stitched on 2 of the 3 projects I've pulled out for March, because I was like desperately in need of something different to stitch on. I did still stitch on both of these yesterday. I'm going to finish them, but I'm going to slow down my progress. I've been trying to do 2% a day, which was 700 and something stitches and 500 and something stitches respectively. So it's been a big battle to try and get the stitches into this every day to try and get them done. I didn't think I'd get them done, but I'm close. So Shooting Star, which is out of the Q-snap now because I'm using it on something else, but it will be going back in. I will be doing some stitches on it today. I did 3,016 stitches in the last week. It's at 93.96. Why I didn't take it up to 94%, I don't know, but it's at basically it's at 94%. So last week it looked like this. Sorry about the colour, it was awful in my room. It's hence why I've waited a little bit longer. It's still light, so I thought I'd record here while I got the chance. And I actually now have to look to see which way is up. And this week at 94%, it's here. So there's very little left to go. I'm just filling in a couple more colours here. You can see I've got some 3811 there that isn't done. There's only a couple of colours left, and then white stitches. I'll just pull up my pattern keeper and just for information's sake. Pattern keeper says Castle Walls. Pattern keeper needs to say Shooting Star. Oh, I've got so many in my pattern keeper. Right, Shooting Star. I've got the stitches in 34, 3810 and 3811. So I've got 3 colours left to go, and that's 200, 360 and 426 stitches, and then there's 1100 stitches of white. So I'm going to finish all the colours, and then basically if there's a gap I know I can stitch in white, so that'll actually make it much quicker to finish if I know all I'm stitching in is white. So the gaps really are just in this corner here now, and like there. See, that triangle is filled and this triangle is not. So I'll just be able to know that if that triangle isn't filled, it'll be white, so I can just get it done. So 94%. So I did really well from 52 3/4 or whatever it was to 94% in a month. I think that's really good going. I have just got 3.5. I have got 2,200 stitches to go. So it was close, but no cigar. Similarly, Castle Walls is close but no cigar. Now this had a lot more to go on it. It was at last week. I'll put the picture up. Oh, it's going gloomy. I'm losing my light. I've got my big light here if I need it. So last week it was at 74%. This week, yesterday, it was at 88. But I believe I'm at 90 now. Let me plop him. No, he's at 89.26. So last week it looked like that. And this week, still in the frame. This week it looks like this. So, oh, my Q-snap's going to fall. Why am I being lazy? Oh. Just take it off. Right. This week it looks like this. That's all I've got left to go. Just that one little corner. So I'm just finishing off this little block here with this little gargoyle who's rather sweet. If you turn him up this way, he's rather cute. But he's an upside downy one. So I'm just finishing off this little gargoyle here, and then I've got one little diamond, one little square here, one little diamond here, and then I've just got this lozengey shape to go there, and I'll be done. So hopefully by next week it'll be a finished piece to show you. This one, that's actually a really good representation of the colour. It's really pretty. It's really pretty. So I'm hoping by next week I'll have that one finished to show you. And it'll be a tick, big whip out the way. I have got the hiccups. I have got 3,000 stitches left to go, almost exactly. It's at 24.5 and it finishes at 27.5. So 3,000 stitches left to go. No, it won't be next week because I put in 3,925, so I nearly did 4,000 stitches in it last week. So maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. It might not be next week's Flosstube, but the week after I should be able to show you finished. So change up projects for March. We're not anywhere near June yet. So my change up projects, I've pulled out 2 that I'm going to finish. I'm saying that without a shadow of a doubt, I will get these 2 projects finished. You'll see why in a second because I picked really quite small ones. So the first one is the Jardin Privé, Alice in Wonderland Snow Globe. Whatever this says up here in French, it's Alice in Wonderland and the Snow Globe. You can buy these PDFs from the jardinprivé.com. I bought paper patterns from Arts and Crafts, Arts and Designs, a little online place. It's actually just up the road from me. It's literally like 15 miles from my house, but they're not a brick and mortar shop. But so there, and I can show you this at my starting point because I haven't stitched on it yet. So I'm not that far. I'm not a million miles off being finished. I've already finished the Little Red Riding Hood one. And it's there, so almost everything inside apart from the face here, his eyeballs and the eyeballs there are done. I've got the rest of the rabbit to stitch and then I've got the base of the snow globe. So this is on 28 count, 2/2. It might be 32 count, it's 32 count in this kind of, I think it's mushroom. It's that kind of buff neutral colour. But this is going to be finished. I think that's going to take me probably 3 really good stitching sessions to finish it. I found some random DMC in the bag that's been there all this time. Arts and Designs. I can see the sticker from the pattern there. So I will be getting this finished, which will be very pleasing because I've got 2 of them and then I can frame them both and stick them on a wall somewhere. I started these quite early on in my cross stitch journey before I settled on heids and things. So that's that. That will be finished this month. And the other piece that I will be finishing, I'm using a paper pattern because it comes out of the book Cross Stitch for the Earth, Emma Congdon, Live Gently Upon the Earth. And my starting point for this is here, which was not quite 50% because I was still on the first page. I spent most of yesterday looking for 890. I found some 890, so now I can finish off the bit of the tiny outstanding bit on the first page. The second page is almost completely full coverage apart from the top of these letters. It's almost completely full coverage, but on 18 count silver sparkle laser, it's that size. So yesterday I stitched that. So I've already done a little chunk. I did this bit yesterday in about an hour and a half, just sitting watching the telly. As I say, it was this very, very dark green, the 890 that I'd mislaid. There's some outlining here. This here is 890 and there's some outlining on the letters. So I'm going to get that done and then I'm just going to jog on and carry on with it, get it done this month for sure. So Emma Comden, Live Gently Upon This Earth, which is a lovely, lovely pattern. Look, I've kept my key. That's all I have left of the first page. I kept my key, and I know which stitches are in the colour. So I started that. I did 703 stitches on that yesterday, and my other piece that I have pulled, my full coverage piece, is a bookshelf. It is a bountiful bookshelf. I'm pretty sure I have a full picture of it here, which I will put up, of what it will look like eventually. And currently, well, I put in 314 stitches, so it's at 8.07%. The bit I'm working on currently looks like this. There is a bit more here, but as you can see, it's very spitty spatty. So I kind of got to the Land of the Lost Toys. That's not catching light well at all. And I finished that right up, and it's finished to here. So I kind of need to get on with this book here, and I need to go back and fill in the edge of the bookshelf because I didn't do that. I tell you what though, picking this up after not stitching on it for about a year and a half, I am a much better, more competent, faster stitcher than I used to be. I struggled with this, and this is like a walk in the park. I banged in 300 and something stitches yesterday in no time at all. It was so quick, so easy. So my goal for this, realistically, is 2%. If I can get this to 10% done this month, I'll be happy. If I do a bit more, brilliant. But I've still got Castle Walls and Shooting Star to finish. So they're carrying over, which will eat into stitching time for other things. But I'd rather have them finished than put them away so close. So I'm going to get them done. So realistically, 2%, which hopefully will bring me into this, will finish me this book, and hopefully get me into the spines. I think there's 1, 2, 3 spines there, and then you get into there's a Viking ship on this one, which I want to get to, but I'm going to work this way. And then maybe the next row of books I'll work the other way. We'll see. That's better. That's much better colour. I didn't know about Max Colour when I bought this. If I'd known about Max Colour then, I would be doing this Max Colour. But it's a standard colour, and it's alright, you know? It's okay. So, there we go. Currently at 8.07. I'm going to aim for 10. We'll see how we get on. So that's all my stitching, that's my plans. Changing up some different projects. The light's cutting in and out now, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to be dead quick now because I'm moving on to my dodgy Chinese haul. Now, I ordered my dodgy Chinese haul on Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago. It came from China to the UK in 7 days exactly. Straight through, no customs, just came to me from China, just like that. So, pretty impressed with the delivery. Now I know I'm an Etsy seller. I understand delivery's a nightmare. Once you've put it in the system, once you've dispatched it, it's out of your hands. The postal system will get it to you when it decides. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not up to me how long something takes to arrive, you know, and it really presses on me. That's the only problem I have with selling things, is that I'm not in control of how long it takes something to arrive where it's going. bit of a really, but so my package arrived 7 days. I was so surprised. I'm also pleasantly surprised with the contents of my packet. Okay, so I ordered in all 6 kits. Now these are 11 count, printed. They come in a pack with a terrible pattern. Printed canvas, full pack of threads. This one has a thimble and some extra needles in it. A thimble, something like a happy thimble. Anyway, it's easier if I put a picture up of what this kit will be. I've got this one for Lizzie. She has a thing about these little hairless cats, so we're going to see what this looks like. I've got this one here, which has quite a good picture on the front. Alice in Wonderland key. So I've got a thing about Alice in Wonderland, clearly. I've got the huge Wonderland diamond painting, the Mandy Manzano, fully licensed Mandy Manzano diamond painting, come from Diamond Art Club. These, I appreciate, are not licensed. I know these are not everybody's cup of tea. I am by no way saying go and buy from this company. I went and bought from this company because I was so sick of looking at their adverts. They wore me down. The Spirited Away, the Totoro, wore me down. So threads are actually really nice. I've got a big hank there of 939. It's not black. I reckon that's 939. These ones are just, oh, what is it? It is 939. And they're all sorted. You get all your threads. Again, terrible pattern that you couldn't use. Couldn't use the pattern. But the printed canvas, I'll give them their dues. Instead of it being dodgy, kind of not, it absolutely lines up. It's just like, this is basically a diamond painting canvas. It lines up. So each symbol is in between a 4, in between its 4 holes. It's not half and half, and you're not having to gauge and guess. The one I bought before from Amazon, which came from China, obviously, was a Tree of Life one, like a triptych. Is that what it's called? Where you get the 3 panels of a Tree of Life. Was terrible. So you had to guess which side of the symbol to use. This is printed beautifully. It's still 11 count. It's still printed. It's fairly nasty, but I know they're unlicensed. I obviously did not buy an Amy Stewart unlicensed kit. I didn't want a treasure hunt bookshelf 11 count this size. Trust me, I didn't. I'm working very hard on that. And I tried to pick things that hopefully I won't be disappointed with. See what I mean? There isn't too much detail. This is the Totoro one. This is what sold me. I'll put the picture here. My girls all love Spirited Away. We've watched it a lot of times. They're very Studio Ghibli kids. Maddie is very, very into it. This will be for Maddie. It's a nice big canvas. And again, you get these big hanks. It's not DMC. It's probably equivalent to CXC. It's slightly thicker. It's obviously poly cotton. I'm assuming it's colour fast because you have to wash them when you're done, because when you wash them, all of this comes out of the back. Let's see. Let's see how it does. So there's one there for Maddie. So far there's one for Lizzie, one for me, one for Maddie. This one is for Flora, which is Kiki's delivery service. Another Studio Ghibli. This one is much bigger. This is 50 by 68 centimetres. It's 11 count. I'm going to put the picture up here. We will see what the detail ends up being like. I think it's going to look like a diamond painting, kind of pixely. all we can do is find out. So this one's for Flora, because this little girl just reminds me of Flora, and that little cat's just utterly adorable. The little cat is utterly adorable. And then there's another Spirited Away one, which again will be for Maddie, and that's there. And the colours in this one, I've had this one open, I'm sorry, they're in the worst plastic in the world. The colours in this one are beautiful. I mean, how badly wrong can that sky go? It's just going to be blocks of colour. How badly wrong can it be? How awful can it look? I'm assuming the little girl will be blocky, but you'll be able to see what it is. Surely it's a water dragon, yeah. So that was that one, and then the other one is for me, and it's Merida. They had every single Disney. I don't really mind buying ripped off Disney stuff, to be honest, because Disney don't license anything. And if you do, it's up to them, and it's always not something, a picture I don't want to stitch. I have real trouble finding anything Brave. There are a few, which is one of the few Disney movies that I genuinely like. Partly for the music, partly because they're all idiots and they're all Scottish, and it's their numpties and they're brilliant. And I love the little lady who voices Merida. McDonald, she's a McDonald. Can't remember her name now. Kelly McDonald, I think she's brilliant. Yeah. So I got a ripped off Disney one. They have these, every single princess, they have one of these silhouette ones, and it looks like that. And I really hope it looks like that. We will see. Look at the bear here. So far, because of course I started it, this is the one I started. So far, there's the bear. Now, 11 count, you're using 3 strands of the slightly thicker than DMC, CXC. What do we think? Coverage is lovely. I can't see the print underneath it anymore, and this colour under there, that bear is like red basically under there. So I'm alright with it at the moment. There's a huge pile of 939. I started in this corner doing 939 blocks, and then I was like, I need to do the bear. So I went over there and I started stitching the bear. So I wanted to be able to show you that I'd started one. So every now and again, and I'm stitching this in hand. I'm stitching because it's 11 count and it's thick and you've got 3 strands. So I'm stitching this in hand. It is softening up ever so quickly because this is the most, see this side you can see is really rigid, and this side where I've been stitching you can see it's already got a bit of flop to it. Now I know this is not everybody's cup of tea. Again, these are unlicensed. I will be showing you them because I will be stitching them, and I did check on YouTube and there are lots of, I bought these from the tapestry market. There's several. They have identical websites, so I think it's probably one big umbrella company. I think if I bought this from Cross DMC, I think it would be the same packet. I think it's the same company. The websites, because I had a look at both, the stock's slightly different in the two. A lot of it has a lot of overlap, and then there's a little bit that doesn't. So I bought those from the tapestry market. I got free delivery. I got 5 for the price of 4. I bought 6, but I got 1 free. So I saved myself back $15. I spent, it was 77, I think, dollars. It worked out at about £64, which is quite a chunk of money for me, but I have 6 kits, so that's just over a tenner each. It's a lot of threads for a tenner. I know it's only CXC or the equivalent, you know, it's not, obviously, I'm under no illusion about these kits. None whatsoever. But they're things I want to stitch for my children. They're patterns I cannot find probably because they're not licensed for cross stitch. But the Chinese people don't care. They just, doesn't matter. They just pump them out. So I bought them. They're for my personal use. I will show you as well as I stitch them. but I'm not going to be doing this. Obviously, this is not sponsored. They had reached out to me. I think they reached out to every Flosstuber, but I didn't. This isn't sponsored at all, of course. I bought these because I like them. I don't want to be beholden to anybody in that respect. So far, I'm enjoying it. It's completely different. It's something very, very different for me. Printed 11 count canvas when I'm stitching the supersized Max Colour Haid. You know, it's completely different, but sometimes you just fancy something completely different. I'm not going to be plugging them. I probably won't mention again where I got them from. If I've done some stitching on them, I'll probably hold it up and go, look, it's coming on, and then down and away it'll go. But because I'm stitching on them and I want to keep track of my stitch count, it will be included in my stitch count, cross stitches across stitch. Right guys, hopefully you understand where I am on those. I wasn't going to cut my nose off to spite my face and never be able to stitch a Spirited Away that I actually liked. There are a few Totoro stuff on Etsy, I know this. They're probably unlicensed too, but what can you do? What can you do? Yeah, so that's me guys. So I've had a really good stitchy week. I'm going to get on with some different pieces, some nice new pieces. This is the only one of these I'm going to start. The others are going back away. I'm not going to have all 6 of them going. I'm going to do one at a time, and obviously I started with one for me, so there'll be a bit while coming. Yeah, Castle Walls and Shooting Star I'm going to plodge on with. Going to carry on with my bookshelf, and I've switched out 3 new projects, so all's good for the month. And I've had a really good week. I've done no life update here at all, have I? I've had a good week. I had slightly different days off, and it's been good. We had a big trawl out to the dentist yesterday, which we all got told off. All of us got told off. But I think everybody gets told off at the dentist, don't they? Doesn't matter how good or bad or anything you look after your teeth. I think dentists just tell you off as a matter of course. I got stop grazing. Your teeth are incredibly clean, but you're grazing, so you've always got acid in your mouth. I was like, thanks. So I don't eat again, ever. You know, what do you want me to do? Flora got sugar alert. Lizzie got, what was it you said to Lizzie? Oh, Lizzie needs to brush much more carefully. And Austin, we just got to keep an eye on Austin, because obviously he had dental surgery, so as his teeth come through, we've got to keep a really good eye on them. So we all got told off. And you know what we did? We came out of the dentist, all of us a bit told off. We went and got a McDonald's, and we had pudding. We got a McDonald's and we drove home eating McFlurries and chips. So yeah, all's good. Right guys, I'll get off now. This is a long enough video. The light's just about held out. It's getting starlings. There's about 1 million starlings gathering above my head. The Spitfires are out. It's going to be bomb doors open. Don't know if you just heard that. There was already poo landing on the conservatory. They've started.
Commemoration.
Yeah, they're just starting now. Righto guys, I will catch you next week with lots of stitchy progress, I hope. I will see you soon. Bye bye from me.